Namaste. Let us continue our discussion further on properties of the salt. In this video, we are going to discuss what are dehydrating agent. What are dehydrating agent? Now, as the name itself suggests, de means removal, hydrate means water. So here, there are certain substances. There are certain substances which removes chemically combined element of water. Okay, that is hydrogen and oxygen. Please do remember, these are the substances which removes chemically combined element of water, even from a compound, even from a compound that is called as your dehydrating agent. So here, not only moisture, but this substances removes chemically combined element of water from the compound itself. Those are called as your dehydrating agent. Those are called as your dehydrating agent. Now, if you look at picture carefully, if you look at picture carefully, I have taken a concentrated H2SO4. So here I have taken a sugar, that is powdered sugar, over which I poured a concentrated sulfuric acid. Over which I pour a concentrated sulfuric acid. So I got a black color mass. That's a carbon. Here I have taken uh, your blocks of sugar, we can say. Okay, so when I put this particular concentrated sulfuric acid here, also the sugar is being turned into black color solid mass. Sugar turns into black color solid mass. So why this happens here? Now, as you know, concentrated sulfuric acid has got greater affinity for water. Concentrated sulfuric acid has got greater affinity for water. So this is one of the property which accounts for a dehydrating nature of concentrated sulfuric acid as well as drying agent. So it has got a more affinity for water. That's the reason concentrated sulfuric acid can be employed as a drying agent also. It can also be employed as dehydrating agent also. So concentrated sulfuric acid serves two purposes. Now it depends upon if you would like to remove moisture from the gas, then I pass the gas through concentrated sulfuric acid. In that case, concentrated sulfuric acid will act as drying agent. Here I'll take powdered sugar or the sugar pieces on which I pour a concentrated sulfuric acid. I get a black color mass. In this case, concentrated sulfuric acid will act as dehydrating agent, will act as dehydrating agent. Now, let us study the dehydration of sugar in detail. Let us study dehydration of sugar in detail. Now, what I observe when I have concentrated sulfuric acid is poured over powdered sugar. Now, sugar is represented by formula C12H22O11. Over this particular sugar, when I pour a concentrated sulfuric acid, so as concentrated sulfuric acid has got greater affinity for water, so I'll get 12 carbon, that is called as sugar charcoal, okay, plus 11 H2O dot H2SO4. So what happens here? Whatever the water molecules are there, they get eliminated as water vapor. So what I observe when I pour a concentrated sulfuric acid over powdered sugar. So when concentrated H2SO4 is added to powdered sugar, it forms black colored spongy means sponge like spongy mass of carbon, which we call it as in sugar charcoal, okay, which is porous in nature and and evolution of water vapor is seen. So this is what the observation question is. What do you observe when concentrated sulfuric acid is poured over powdered sugar? So when I'm pouring concentrated sulfuric acid over powdered sugar, I get black colored spongy mass of carbon, and that is porous in nature, and evolution of water vapor is seen. So this is about dehydration of sugar, that is removal of water from sugar, we can take it. Now moving further towards dehydration of hydrated salt, So here I take example of hydrated copper sulfate. So here I'll have CuSO4 dot 5H2O. So this is hydrated copper sulfate, which is blue crystalline solid, which is blue color crystalline solid. Over that I'm pouring a concentrated sulfuric acid. So I'll get here CuSO4 plus 5H2O dot H2SO4. So I'll get here white amorphous, okay, solid, which we call it as an anhydrous copper sulfate. So I can write here, when concentrated H2SO4 is added to blue colored crystalline copper sulfate, it forms white amorphous solid. You can able to see white color amorphous solid, that is called as your anhydrous copper sulfate. Okay, this is the observation when I pour concentrated sulfuric acid over hydrated copper sulfate. Now the next we are going to discuss about a dehydration of alcohol. Now here alcohol we have as ethanol. So what will happen, from adjacent carbon atom, hydrogen and OH is been lost as water molecule, and double bond is been generated between these two carbon, results in formation of ethene. So this reaction we call it as an dehydration of alcohol. So from adjacent carbon atom, hydrogen and OH has been lost and results in formation of an alkene. So this dehydration of alcohol to form unsaturated hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon means compounds of carbon and hydrogen. So this is about dehydration of alcohol. Now, let us discuss what is the difference present between drying and dehydrating agent. This is important. So in previous video, we did discuss about what are drying agent. In this video, we discuss about what are dehydrating agent. So let us bring about a difference present between them. Although both of them removes a moisture, but there is a difference. Now generally whenever I use a drying agent, it removes the moisture from the substance. Whereas drying agent, whenever you take it, it removes the moisture from the other substance, that is atmospheric moist gases. Whereas dehydrating agent removes a chemically combined element from water. Now generally drying agents are used to dry a gas like chlorine, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen chloride, ammonia, etc. But whereas dehydrating agent is used to prepare some compounds like carbon monoxide, sugar charcoal. We have studied the example how they form sugar charcoal. Now whenever we have drying agent, it generally represents physical change. This is most important. Whenever you pass a moist gas, only the moisture is removed. Chemically, the gas remains same. But when I'm using a dehydrating agent, it brings out chemical change. The sugar gets converted into sugar charcoal. It's a chemical change. Blue color crystalline copper sulfate turns into amorphous copper sulfate. It's a change. So crystalline geometry has been lost. It turns into powder. So there are changes. As such, it brings out as a chemical change. Thank you for watching.